entries were just venting and didn't reflect her true feelings, but the judge wasn't buying it. She asked Rachel directly why she'd written such detailed plans about abandoning Lynn. Rachel stammered. Even Marcus looked uncomfortable as more evidence came out about Rachel's real motivations. The judge continued pressing Rachel about her journal entries, while Marcus shifted uncomfortably behind her. Rachel's lawyer tried to object, but the judge overruled him, wanting to hear Rachel's explanation. Rachel broke down crying, her shoulders shaking as she dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. The tears seemed forced though, especially when she peeked through her fingers to check if the judge was watching. She claimed she was young and scared, that the journal entries were just her way of venting during a difficult time. The judge then asked about the 8-hour abandonment incident. Rachel straightened in her chair and tried to minimize it, insisting she'd only been gone for 2 hours at most. She said I was exaggerating to make her look bad. That's when my lawyer called Dr. Nathaniel Peterson, Lynn's old pediatrician, to the stand. He pulled out his medical records from that night and the next morning. His testimony was devastating. He described Lynn's severe dehydration, the angry diaper rash that had developed from sitting in waste for hours, and how her voice was completely gone from crying. The timestamps on his examination notes showed Lynn had been alone far longer than 2 hours, directly contradicting Rachel's timeline. Rachel's facade started cracking. When her lawyer leaned over to whisper something, she actually snapped at him loud enough for everyone to hear. "I know what I'm doing," she hissed, pushing his hand away from her arm. Marcus began whispering urgently to Rachel, his face growing paler with each revelation. I could see him gripping the bench, his knuckles white. This was clearly the first time he was hearing the real story. The judge called a 15-minute recess. I headed to the bathroom to splash water on my face, trying to calm my nerves. The door burst open and Rachel cornered me by the sinks. "Drop this right now," she snarled, her perfectly applied makeup cracking around the edges. "You have no idea what I can do to you. I'll make your pathetic little life absolute hell if you don't give me my daughter back." I stood firm, meeting her eyes in the mirror. "She's not your daughter anymore. You made that choice 6 years ago." Rachel grabbed my arm, her manicured nails digging deep enough to leave marks. The bailiff must have followed her because he immediately intervened, pulling her away and warning her about appropriate courtroom behavior. Back in court, Rachel's lawyer tried a new strategy. He claimed I'd manipulated Rachel into signing over custody while she was vulnerable and suffering from postpartum depression. He called a surprise witness, Brittany Chen, who he said was Rachel's old friend. Brittany took the stand looking nervous. She testified that she'd witnessed me pressuring Rachel to give up Lynn, that I'd taken advantage of her fragile mental state. Her story sounded rehearsed, each detail too perfect. But on cross-examination, my lawyer asked Brittany one simple question about compensation for her testimony. Brittany's face went red. After some pressing, she admitted Rachel had paid her $5,000. She actually pulled out her phone and showed the bank transfer, dated just 3 days ago. The memo line read, "Consultation fee. The judge was visibly angry about the bribery attempt. Her face turned stern as she made notes, shaking her head. Rachel suddenly stood up and announced she wanted to fire her lawyer, right there, in the middle of the hearing. The courtroom erupted in chaos as her lawyer tried to calm her down. The judge banged her gavel, and Rachel kept insisting she could represent herself. Marcus stood up during the commotion. "Your Honor, I need to speak with my fiancé privately. This isn't what I was told." The judge granted another recess. Rachel and Marcus disappeared into a conference room. Through the small window in the door, I could see animated gestures and Rachel's face getting redder. 20 minutes later, they emerged separately. Marcus walked straight out of the courtroom without looking back. Rachel returned alone, her confident demeanor completely shattered. She'd lost her financial backing. Desperate now, Rachel